was the best superhero suit of 2025? Before we watch this video, guys, put your opinion in the comments. Which was the best? More importantly, which was the worst? I gotta say, I like Superman a lot, but I'm not gonna vote his for the best because that suit had too many things wrong with it. Let's check out this video. Link is in the description for the original one.
As 2025 comes to an end, let's take a look back through all the superhero projects that released this year and discuss which project had the best superhero costume.
What is happening with Daredevil? I didn't watch any. Is that really the suit that look at that? Looks like the bottom of a snake belly. Like what is happening with that? The only one I think I really like.
Costume of 2025.
Let's see. Let's see what's going to happen. I'm excited for this one, guys, because
Cinemaze and
the suits, we've been getting into a habit of making them a certain way, and baggy, armor looking, and I'm not liking it. I'm not liking it.
If you're new here, be sure to subscribe.
I want to see what he's going to call best.
More projects like this. As someone whose most popular videos are ranking superhero suits, I thought it would be fun to go through the 2025 superhero.
Let me know in the comments if you want me to react to more of those suit rankings, like Spider-Man or something else, or Batman. I really love Superman suits. I really love Batman suits. I love Spider-Man suits. I love all the different ones. But if you want me to watch, put it in the comments.
Projects and decide which had the best superhero suit. Now, I'm only going to be covering live-action projects from Marvel and DC, and we'll only be looking at the superhero suits, not the supervillains. I'll go through the year in release order, highlighting the suits in each project, which suits could be contenders, and at the end discuss which suit I think is the best of the year. Started with Captain America: Brave New World, and I bet loads of you forgot that this even came out in 2025. Now, this movie starts with Sam Wilson's Captain America in his...
It's a cool-looking suit. I don't know that it's like the greatest thing ever. I mean, it's got that baggy armor look too, but it's cool looking. I don't think this will be at his bottom. I really don't.
White Captain America suit. We saw this at the end of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and it's a pretty...
Just thought the black Captain America is wearing a white Captain America suit. Interesting. The white Captain America wears blue. What's he doing? He should be wearing a black one, right?
Comic
equality.
Accurate adaptation of the suit with some MCU influences. In Brave New World, we see some changes like the addition of a helmet, which makes sense considering his high-speed flying, and it removes the neck connection, which I think makes the suit less interesting, but I do understand why that connection was hard to pull off. Considering
that you're showing why it needs to go.
This is mostly a suit we have seen before. I don't think it can be a contender for best of the year, but I do favor this white Sam Wilson suit over the other suit that we see in the film, which is his blue suit, known as the stealth suit. For stealth reasons, it makes sense not to use bright white, but I really think this is less interesting than his white version. Other than the goggles, gloves, and boot style, this feels way more like a Steve Rogers suit than a Sam Wilson suit. And so it gives Sam's cap less visual identity. Definitely.
What do you think in the comments? Blue or white? I like the white. I do. I like the white.
Definitely not a contender for best of the year. If we consider all superhero suits, we also get the new Falcon suit in Brave New World, and honestly, I think it sucks. This design isn't interesting, the colors are dull, the shape is weird, and generally, it's just an ugly costume, and it looks cheap. It doesn't look as professional as other MCU.
It looks like Master Chief, they were designing him a suit, and they were saying, who can make this look the dumbest? It's kind of what it looks like. They were like, who can make this look weak and not powerful? This is the design right here.
MCU costume. It feels almost Power Rangers-like. I suppose it is adapting the comic suit, which I also don't think is that great. And I do like the slightly pointed, almost bird-shaped mask, but overall, I don't like this suit. It's definitely the worst suit of the year, and one of the worst in the MCU ever. Now, Brave New World actually had a crazy production, and with that, a bunch of costumes didn't make the final cut. We already know that the leader's design was changed after shooting, plus a bunch of other villains didn't make the final movie, but we also had something similar happen for the heroes. Isaiah Bradley was going to wear a suit with a star on it, echoing his past as a super soldier, and Ruth was going to feature a costume similar to her comic book counterpart. And that suit can even be seen under her jacket briefly in the final
cool
cut.
Under her jacket.
Ultimately, we don't see these suits in the movie, but it is fascinating to hear how much was changed here. After Brave New World, we got Daredevil Born Again, and the main superhero suit worn in this series.
I want to hear what he's going to say, guys, because I don't like it. I don't like it. Do you like it?
This was, of course, Daredevil's new costume. It's built off a similar foundation to the Netflix suit, but with a new texture, more red, and a slightly more comic-y feel.
It's better than that. It's better than that. And what is up with the crotch? They got the high waist and the low crotch, and it's just a weird section of his body. Like, what is happening there? I like the nunchucks.
And if you've seen my Daredevil suit ranking from earlier in the year, you will know this is my favorite of the Daredevil suits we've seen so far. For this reason, I think it has to be thrown in as a contender for best superhero suit of the year. In this series, we also get the Punisher, and it's similar to always, nothing new here, Burnfall with a bulletproof vest painted with a white skull. Always a cool look, but not enough to be best in the year.
Yeah,
what we also got was White Tiger, a new vigilante.
Speaking of Power Rangers, actually, no, I'm thinking this is more like Rocky Colton Tum Tum. That's what if you know what that is, put it in the comments. That's what I'm seeing right here. Rocky Colton Tum Tum.
And it's pretty good. It's this nice blend of feeling homemade and low budget, like a random guy could pull this together, but still looking cool and cinematic and referencing his look in the comics. It's not best of the year standards, but it's a decent suit for his
He described it in a very nice light. It looks like somebody could have pulled this together at home without looking too stupid or whatever he said. It does look a little, I don't know, but the white for me, I never like white superhero suits that much. At least not that much white.
Side character. While this list isn't about villains, I do want to give a shout out to the Muse costume. It's one of the most comic accurate designs we've ever seen. Plus it adds in this new idea of the texture of the suit being made from paint canvas. It's fantastic, and I wish the actual character got as good a treatment as his costume. Next up, we had Thunderbolts, and being a team movie means we get a whole team of superhero suits. We'll start with Yelena, definitely the main character in the film. This time she wears a tactical suit. It has a slight green hint, which harkens back to her sleeveless jacket from Black Widow. The new outfit is definitely less sexualized than we've seen in the past for Black Widows, which tend to be tight, and so this feels more like something someone would actually wear to partake in covert missions. Unfortunately, it does have less comic influence than some of the outfits we've seen her wear in the past, but it's not bad. It totally fits the grounded movie it appears in, but it's not interesting enough to be contender for best of the year. And then
yeah, like you said, it's a tactical suit. It's just clothes to wear in that situation. That's about all it is.
we have Bucky, and he's
Is his suit that arm?
just a guy. He's just wearing a t-shirt and a leather jacket. He looks great. He pulls it off, but it's not a superhero suit. And then we have John Walker. So this is similar to the suit we see at the end of Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I don't really like any of the suits from that movie. I haven't seen the movie, but I've seen the suits, and they're all like, it's hard to pull off that Captain America hat thing. That's hard to pull off. But all the suits in that movie are just kind of bland and dull, and I do like that they look like something that they do wear and get roughed up in. I like
as
that.
he transitions from Captain America to US Agent. And it's essentially a black version of his Captain America suit, now with white stripes and with no logo on the helmet. Very similar to his comic costume. Compared with the one in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the star seems slightly brighter now, but the biggest difference is that the whole suit is dirty and tarnished, and this says a lot about Walker's life since gaining the suit. He's clearly doing multiple missions for Val and wearing this suit, getting it messy and ruined. His suit isn't getting cleaned or
I like that aspect. I like the roughed up thing, but
replaced, so he clearly has limited resources. I think it's a great way to visually tell us the state of this character. If you've seen my Captain America suit ranking, you'll know that I really like the design here of the base suit. It's a perfect blend of corporate hero, MCU Captain America, and the comic character. It's my favorite suit of the main Thunderbolts, but I don't think it can be contender for best of the year, as we've basically seen this suit before.
I am so glad he's not putting that as the contender for best of the year. That's okay. That's cool and not cool. It's got a lot of different textures in it, which is cool. Like the hat, for instance, you know. I don't know how I feel about it. I think it would be my mood.
Then we have Red Guardian. This is a different suit than he wore in Black Widow. This version feels more homemade. It feels pieced together with scraps with visible stitches, rivets, buckles, and varying textures. Like he's tried to build his own version of his suit with limited resources. And I really like that. I think for the most part, the suit is an improvement, particularly the helmet shape and the star logo design. Although I'm not a fan of the texture of the ab section of the suit, which really stands out and it looks odd to me. Overall, a good suit with some nice details, but again, not enough for best of the year.
Yeah, it depends on some scenes it looks good and some scenes it does not. I mean, I just don't like it whenever it's got the bright, fresh look to it, like the ivory white. And like you said, the abs, that's no good.
Then we have Ghost, a very different suit from when we last saw her, and for me, a big downgrade. It replaces her all-white look with a mostly dark suit, which loses her unique appearance and makes her blend in with the other dark-suited characters.
I get the unique part, but I like the dark.
Characters. It loses any comic connection that the previous suit had, along with the creepy ghost look. It also no longer feels like a containment suit for her powers, as it's more slimmed down, although I do like the addition of the samurai.
That is true, though. It lacks the containment suit feel. Ghost suit definitely is like obviously part of what she needs, but that just looks more like a cool suit.
Samurai-esque skirt guard. Not a bad suit, but it loses what makes Ghost unique, and honestly barely resembles the character that we met before. And
Probably because they wanted to have the actress visible, and the white may have clashed, I don't know, without a mask. I'm not sure.
Of course, we have Taskmaster. And while she is barely in the film and gets wasted, I do think her costume is an upgrade. It's no longer trying to hide the fact that under the mask it's a woman, so it's now allowed to be a bit less chunky and it's slimmed down, which makes sense for an agile, nimble character. The new suit also feels more modern, but the biggest upgrade is the mask. The mask is now white and more clearly skull-shaped, which leads to a more striking, intimidating design and closer to the comic look. It's just a shame she does nothing in the movie. And finally, we have Sentry, and I really like this suit. It finds the perfect blend of honoring the comic look, but also feeling corporate, because this version of Sentry was specifically designed and created.
And the gold isn't so overpowering, but it's there all throughout, which is really cool. Like, the gold coloring isn't like boom, but the gold is everywhere.
So he is supposed to feel like a traditional superhero. It's supposed to feel slightly cheesy. The MCU over-designed lines make sense here, because in universe, he has been over-designed. Even the fact his blonde hair has been specifically dyed to meet what they think the public in universe want. That is a great addition to the character, and I love when you can find out more about why a suit looks a certain way and the design choices. And because in universe this suit was focus grouped, you can see details about Project Sentry and the suit. Like, it's actually made of vibranium, why the logo looks the way it does, and how they tried to make the suit marketable. I love details like this, plus the suit looks great. I think it has to be a contender for best of the year. But that's not it for the Thunderbolts, because we get a whole new set of suits in the post-credit scenes that I assume we will see in more detail in Doomsday. Yelena's suit doesn't seem that noticeably different, but now it has a new Avengers logo on the shoulder. Ghost's suit also looks the same, but again with a new Avengers logo on the shoulder, and most noticeably a new haircut. Bucky now gets an actual suit. It features a padded chest, a red star on his non-metallic arm, and the new Avengers logo. Honestly, it has a slightly cheap look to it, but that may be intentional given the nature of the new Avengers team. Walker's suit is mostly the same, but it seems to have been cleaned up and less dirty, representing how he is now in a better place in life. And the US Agent A is now the new Avengers logo, and of course the biggest change, replacing his helmet with a beret. And interestingly, his shield is still bent. Red Guardian gets a jokey suit, and I'm interested to see if he gets a more updated version of his actual red suit in Doomsday, or if he continues to wear his homemade feeling one. Overall, these post-credit costumes are fine. To me, there is a slightly cheap feel to the suits, the wigs, and even the scene itself, but maybe it will look better in the final movie, and I am interested to see them in action in Doomsday, but there's nothing special here. Remember Ironheart? I barely do, but in Ironheart, we actually get 3 new suits. Coming into Ironheart, I really hated the suit we saw in Wakanda Forever. It didn't feel like a real suit in terms of both CGI and design, and truly, I thought it was just a terrible look. So I'm pleased to say all 3
It has a blue beetle look to it.
These new suits look better than that one. We start with her MIT suit. It's a cool design with a nice color palette, and it feels like a suit someone would build with MIT resources backing them. It immediately feels more real than the Wakanda Forever suit. However, due to its sleek design and color scheme, it does feel like the suit with the least character. She then moves on to make her Mark IV suit, which is built off scraps now that she's lost her resources. This looks and feels the most Iron Man-like. It feels quite familiar, but this one feels 100% real. You can tell they were using practical elements of this suit on set, and that really helps to sell this suit as a real.
I like it when they do that. I hate it when things have ever crazy CGI. Like in Man of Steel, all the the Kryptonian men's suits were CGI, but Feora's was real, which was really cool.
Object. And building a suit from nothing is a far more engaging story than the previous suits with unlimited resources. And then we get her final suit, which is the Mark V. This is the black and red suit, and it's made with a combination of tech and magic, a key theme of the show. And with that premise and the new color scheme, that makes this the suit with the most unique feel and personality. Overall, none of the Ironheart suits make it to the top of the year, because frankly, we've seen Iron Man suits before, and these aren't doing anything unique enough or look cool enough, and honestly, none of them even feel like the comic character Ironheart. But I have to give praise to the show for putting an emphasis on practical effects to bring.
Agreed. The practical effects things is what I'm most excited about there. The rest of it, It's really not that great, you know? It looks a little overly designed to
The
me.
suits to life, something sorely missing in Wakanda Forever and even some of the later Iron Man suits. Over to DC, we then have Superman. This movie gave us a few superhero suits, of course starting with the Man of Steel himself, and this is a strong Superman suit. I love the bright colours and the return of the trunks. I like the use of the Kingdom Come logo and the comic influences from the New 52. It's both unique and traditional, and it just feels like Superman.
That's not accurate, though. Those colors, that doesn't look right. I would love it if they were that bright, but
I'm less of a fan of the way the suit fits him. It can look baggy at times and it is a thick material, but that has slightly grown on me when I've heard.
I like the overall design of the suit. What I don't like is the fit. Like, even look at the belt loop. I can see straight through that thing. That should be snug up and tight. His suit's got all those wrinkles because of the fact that it's like this baggy texture. It's not tight. I don't like this armor thing we've done with superhero suits. It makes sense with the Kryptonian being Kryptonian suit or armor or whatever. It makes sense. I just prefer tights. I like the way it looks.
People compare it with workers' overalls, and the first image we ever saw of this Superman was him pulling up his boots
That
and
was
going
not
to work.
yeah.
So maybe that's what this texture is supposed to evoke. If you saw my Superman rankings, you'll know that this isn't my favorite Superman suit. I do think this can be improved, but it is a great
It's not my favorite
foundation,
either.
and I think it's definitely worthy to be contender for Best of the Year because it evokes the feelings you want from a Superman suit: bright, bold, hopeful. In Superman, we also get the Justice Gang. As a team, they sport matching white suits and jackets with a
They're okay. Yep, they're nothing special, which I'm glad because Superman needed to be the one that looked special in that movie.
trim of their relevant color. They nail the mask for Hawkgirl, but other than that, I think she has the least interesting of the suits because of the gang, this is the furthest look from their comic counterpart. If she didn't have the jacket and kept the mask, it would actually look closer to her comic appearance. Guy Gardner's Green Lantern is closer because his comic character is known for wearing a leather jacket, and so this does feel like a corporate team take on that character. But it's Mr. Terrific who comes out the best here with a look that is pretty much perfect to his comic counterpart.
Pretty
the
close,
colors,
yep.
the jacket with fair play on the sleeves, the T-shaped mask, it's straight off the page. It's only missing the white eyes. It feels like they made this design and then based the rest of the gang on this outfit. I did think these team suits
I never even noticed it was missing the white eyes. It looks so good, you don't even notice
were
that.
going to be more representative of a theme in the movie of corporate superheroes, with Superman being the first true independent hero.
He does get them, though, at one point, doesn't he, when he's doing stuff or something in the Pocket Universe? I think he does.
And it's kind of touched on, but not really, as the movie has just so much going on. Either way, that doesn't take away from this near perfect comic translation, and it definitely earns a shot at Best of the Year. And let's not forget Supergirl. We get a brief look at her at the end of the movie, and
That is not a good suit. But in the trailer, it looks better because it's a different suit. It's not the same suit. This is like a high-waisted version, you know, just like Superman wears, you know?
it looks like a Supergirl suit, perfectly blending the Korner sweatsuit design with the comic Supergirl suit. Interestingly, it is slightly different to the suit that we see in her movie's trailer, which
Yes.
has some slight tweaks.
Not as high-waisted. You can tell.
Interestingly, it's slightly different to the
You can tell that the shield, the distance between the shield and the bottom of the belt, is a lot longer on over here on the movie. The skirt looks better. The skirt looks actually like it might be a little longer. I'm not sure, but it could just be because the waist is in a different spot. I'm not sure.
suit that we see in her movie's trailer, which has some slight tweaks. Overall, a good suit, but we don't get enough of a look at it to be able to judge it as Best of the Year. And Superman then led pretty much straight into Fantastic Four First Steps. Now, in this movie, we actually got two different team suits. Yes, the main one.
Okay, I like those suits because of the retro futuristic look. If that was just what they chose, I'd be like, what? Turtlenecks and sweaters? What are you talking about? But because it's retro futuristic, I think it goes really well.
But also very briefly a traditional team costume. They're designed to be the suits worn in the early days of the Fantastic Four, and we see them in flashbacks when they fight Giganto, the monster from the cover of their first comics. The flashback
Very
segments are
comic
cut
accurate.
down in the editing room, so when we see these suits in the movie, it ends up for only about 5 seconds, so it's hard to even notice them. But we have a behind the scenes photo of these suits, and they were displayed at an event so that we can see how these suits look. These are an extremely faithful adaptation of the suits we see in some of the early comics. They're a fun reference. I appreciate them making practical suits for such a short appearance, but we barely see them, so I can't rank them that highly. And of course, we get the main costumes that the team wears. These are the blue and
I'm telling you, with the knowledge of the retro futuristic, that's pretty cool. Like sitting there with the car behind him, that looks pretty Cool.
white John Byrne inspired costumes. The colors match the 60s setting
knows
and
what
they
he's
have
doing.
a unique look with gadgets and textures clearly inspired by astronauts, which perfectly fits the vibe of the movie. Now each member has a slight difference on their suit, which makes each suit unique while still feeling like a team, and there are comic connections to some of these patterns. I love how these suits feel like nothing we have ever seen before. They aren't leather or tight spandex, they have a padded texture that perfectly fits the 60s, NASA, and retro futuristic setting and adds to the idea of this being in a different universe because we've never seen something like this before. So for being so unique while still feeling comic accurate, they definitely count as a contender for best of the year. Also, again, we aren't ranking villains, but I do want to give a shout out to Galactus, and despite him being a giant alien, he isn't 100% CGI, and they did create a practical suit to be worn on set. They easily could have CGI'd the whole thing, but making a real suit really helps to bring this character to life. And then finally, we had Peacemaker. Now we do get a new Peacemaker suit with the alternate version of Peacemaker.
The nose piece is always off center on that, and it bugs me so much. It bugs me. I think it's just because his nose probably isn't perfectly center, and they didn't make that based off of his face.
With long sleeves, darker colors, a flipped logo, and a more streamlined helmet. Look, it's fine. It's a nice alternate take on the costume, but it's nothing special. Also, there are a few other superhero suits that appear across the season. They're all fine. They're nice references, but the suits in Peacemaker do have a more TV feel. I think it's intentional as these aren't as high profile characters, and James Gunn likes to pump up the colors, but there's nothing here pushing the boundary for best of the year. So that is an overview of the suits that released in 2025. And before I give you my favorite of the year,
I'm going to say probably Superman or Fantastic Four is what he's going to say. That's my guess because those to me look the best. Also, yes, subscribe to his channel and to my brand new superhero reaction channel where I react to all sorts of superhero related things, and put your reaction requests in the comments. I will read them. I see them. I promise.
make sure to subscribe if you haven't
Doesn't mean I'll do it for sure, but
already. I've got a bunch of exciting content planned for the films and costumes
All right.
coming out in 2026.
And let me know
which
if you
looks
want me to
like an
react to more of his
incredible year
stuff.
for superhero suits with Daredevil, Spider-Man, Doctor Doom, potentially comic accurate X-Men suits coming. I
Oh,
can't
yeah.
wait, so subscribe to hear more
I
about
love
that.
me
But
some
for now,
Cyclops.
back to the video. So I've narrowed down the contenders for best of the year to Daredevil, Sentry, Superman, Mr. Terrific, and the Fantastic Four. I think I can immediately
Okay. Daredevil needs to go. That looks dumb. I don't like it. I'm telling you, it looks like a snake belly, like in the crotch. Like, what is going on there? Thing's like so low. I don't like it. Sentry, that's cool. Though it's comic accurate, I don't think I like Mr. Terrific's suit that much. It doesn't stand out to me. Fantastic Four, Sentry, and Superman make a lot of sense to me. I actually forgot about Sentry when we were looking at it, but that's a really cool suit.
rule out Daredevil and Superman. While they are great suits, I don't think they're doing enough to be my favorite of the year. We've seen
Definitely not
Superman suits
Daredevil.
before, and even suits I prefer over this one. And while this is my favorite Daredevil suit so far, it's still built off a similar base to past suits, and we know a better suit is coming in season 2. Getting third place is Sentry. It is a great suit, and there are levels of meta commentary here which really work with the suit being designed in universe by focus groups to create the perfect superhero. But because of that, a lot of the suit does feel familiar. It's also not in the movie that much.
All
I
right.
just don't think it looks as
It's
cool
cool,
as the
though.
other two. So that brings us
Who's he gonna pick, guys? Who's he gonna pick? Okay, y'all tell me obviously which one you think is best, but I think I would go Fantastic Four on this. Because I'm telling you, Terrifics, I wouldn't even have had him in this lineup because though it's comic accurate, I don't really like the suit that much. You know, the fair play's cool, but I don't really like the suit that much. In the fact that it's the Justice Gang style too, they don't stick out that much. You know, it's I don't know. We'll see. What's he gonna do?
down to the final two. Mr. Terrific, which gets so high because it's an almost perfect one-to-one comic adaptation.
See, that's what he's saying though. It's almost perfect one-to-one. I agree, it's comic accurate, but is it better than the Fantastic Four suit? It's just that same baggy, leathery stuff, you know. I don't know.
Of a suit while managing to make it work and look cool in live action versus the Fantastic Four suits, which, while clearly comic inspired, add their own unique flavor with a retro futuristic feel that we've never seen before. Their suits are so different.
like
it's
that.
not the usual MCU superhero suit texture.
I wish we had a retro futuristic Superman movie. I really do. 40s, not 60s.
It fits perfectly into an alternate 60s setting while still feeling modern and cool. I really have seen no other superhero suits like it, and it's still clearly clearly the Fantastic Four. So for these reasons, I'm going to say that the Fantastic Four First Steps main costumes are my favorite superhero suits of the year 2025.
I missed it.
My favorite superhero suit of the year 2025.
Oh, okay. So he went with Fantastic Four. I like dazed out at the end, guys. I was thinking about things, and all of a sudden I realized, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I do like the Fantastic Four look. Now, sometimes they look dull. Sometimes the colors are pumped up. I don't really know why they're doing what, when, which, you know. But I think that's fair. I think Superman's suit is better than a lot of those, even though his suit isn't one of the best versions of his suit. Like he was saying, it's better than a lot of those suits that are out there. I am shocked he put Daredevil, though. Do y'all like that Daredevil suit? I think it's atrocious. I think it just looks bad. I really don't know what's going on with it. I don't think it was well done. It's just a weird looking suit, but I do think the Fantastic Four one is pretty cool. Don't forget to check out my Amazon store, guys, and to subscribe to this guy's channel. Subscribe to my new superhero reaction channel, and also I've got another video waiting on you.